night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, it's too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation. We live lives on a small screen nation. We control the airwaves, no negotiation. I refuse to think we need saving. Something good will come from creation. And when we think that the world is too anxious, we'll adapt, evolve, survive, and save it. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, oh yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, yeah.
Turn on your mind now, tune into the feed. We're planting digital flowers from a single tiny seed. Yeah, power to the collective in the data and the soul. The hive mind's getting louder, finding voice and control.
What is going on, Hive? I hope everybody had a fantastic Monday. We got the audio coming in loud and clear. And I would tell everybody right now, you're going to have to buckle up because tonight is not going to be a, quote, normal show where it's just commentary or it's just content. I believe that what Devil's Advocates and I are going to get into should be considered a effing emergency broadcast when it comes through an official story being bullshit. And so I have DA backstage as always on Monday nights. If this is your first time in the Hive, welcome. This is a contrarian thinking live stream where we are not afraid to think past the headlines or question the narrative. So if you're easily rattled or offended on behalf of others, this is not going to be the stream for you. However, if you can easily see through the mainstream BS and you like to look into things, you are amongst friends, you have found your people, and welcome to the Hive. Now, I want to go ahead and say what's up to everybody. And I am hoping that tonight, if your eyes have not been opened in general to this new mainstream media culture of let's make a crime high profile, and then let's just stick our middle fingers in the face of everybody that watches our channels and not give them any transparency on it. It's not necessarily even just the news anymore. It seems to be public officials. And I say that just so that everybody can kind of mentally prepare, because I know a lot of people have some opinions on this, but I do think it's very important to talk about. And I also think that there's a lot of ties back, not just to Idaho 4, but the world that we are living in when it comes to high profile crime. So buckle up. Like I said, we are going to get into it. I see we got LA Mike's in the house. What's Gucci, my Louie? Wonders Deep. Gang, gang. What up, Crown? Pinto Sack. Yo, yo, yo. Gabby Girl says, hey, Birdie Gang. What up, Squirrel Nest? How you doing? Wonders Deep. I don't know if DA is seeing this comment on screen backstage. He's laughing. That's hilarious, April Rain Showers. UFO Dogs in Berdino's basement. I think that edit of Devil's Advocates looked badass. I think it looks good. I didn't tell him that I was going to do that. And I was like, did you see that? And he started laughing. He's like, yes. He's like, I had to go find my Mariners hat. What's going on, Lori? Michaela. I agree, Aurora. Everybody go tap that like button. Steph, I am glad you are back as well. True to it says titty bitties. Bobby Buckets. What up, brother? No, you're the man, Steph. What up, Cryptic Conversions? Good to see you. Carrie Graham's in the house. Shout out to one of my mods, Robin Lynn. She says, hey, 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 Hive. Caleb Lee says, Gucci. Sherry's in the house. UK Karen left the DNA already. Shout out to Mitty Witty. Well, Brooke says she loves a feisty birdie and a sassy DA. Hive, I am officially over 24 hours no vape. And let me tell you, I am fully feeling the effects of that. So there's doesn't seem to be any amount of zins. It's just the habit of putting a vape to my mouth that has been the hardest part. But I'm sticking to it. I said I was going to do it, and I'm doing it. So what's that? Thank you, Scout. I appreciate that. UFO Dog. What's that quote from that Star Wars movie? Like, do or do not. There is no try. What's up, Miss Maggie? Leanne Stanley, good to see you. Hulk smash incoming. I should have put the Hulk jersey on. Thank you, Gamble. Mrs. Birdie's put me on blast because I got done streaming. I'm like, this isn't even that bad. Yeah. Well, all right, Hive. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to bring up Devil's Advocates. And here he is. What's Gucci, my Louie? How you doing, brother?
I was gonna say, with or without the lipstick tonight, I can't. I swear, you must have a chroma key on me on purpose to fuck with my lips when I'm on your show.
It might just be a conspiracy, DA. I don't know.
I'm thinking it might be. I think I only get this crap when I'm on your show with the whole lipstick thing.
Yeah, but dude, about that is, I never see it on my end. So I think I do this. I'm actually colorblind. Like, I could never go and be a pilot. I could never be in the bomb squad. I don't know if I could get drafted. But in 7th grade, I found out that I was colorblind and I can't see greens, reds, blues, purples, blacks, browns.
No shit.
It all just looks the same. If anything, I have to memorize the shade. So
wow,
that's pretty trippy.
It's more common than people think to be colorblind. Actually, but it's interesting. Yeah.
So, and dude, my brother, he's colorblind too, and what's funny is when that happened to me in 7th grade, like nobody passed that message down to him. Like, hey, as you get older, dude, if you feel like you can't see colors, because for me, I couldn't see the green marker on the projector, like the overhead projector in school when they wrote in it. I was like, there's nothing up there. So nobody told my little brother that this is like hereditary or whatever it is. And so he goes in for eyeglasses and he calls me. He's like, dude, I'm colorblind. I'm like, really? I am too. He's like, you are? And so I don't know how that went over our heads, but the way that he told the story was this lady held up this book with a bunch of pictures on it that had a number inside, like a bunch of colored dots. Have you seen that?
Yes.
And dude, he had me cackling, laughing because he's like, so I'm sitting there and this woman is like showing me the pages. He's like, nope, don't see anything. Nope, don't see anything. Nothing. She's like, kind of like side eye. I'm like, And then he says she just like slams the book, goes, boy, you colorblind, and gets up and walks out of the room.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Wow.
Man. So anyways, how are you doing?
I think it's hilarious that you pick very colorful thumbnails and you're colorblind. Like, how the hell do you even do that?
I don't know.
All
I don't
right.
know why. You're right. Maybe it's because I just want to see if I could feel what it would be like to see colors. I don't know.
Nice.
But no, I'm probably used to it because I don't know if I've ever actually seen colors my whole life. I don't think it just gradually happens. I think you're born with it.
Oh my God, I know the audience doesn't want to hear this, but it's bending my mind to not understand. Like, for me to know what colors look like, have you not know? Like, you don't see the world. You literally do not see the world the same way that I see the world, and that bends my mind.
Yeah, it's pretty trippy. Or like what colors look like to you.
Yeah,
they don't look the same to me. Like, I'm not
right.
saying that I don't know that like the grass
There's a difference
is quote green.
Right.
Yeah, but it's like I can't. So I don't know, man. But anyways, I'm stoked to have you here as always on Monday nights. I think you heard me. I've quit the vape, so this is now the second stream without it.
Yeah, I wasn't sure I heard that correctly. Are you doing that because you're trying to get off nicotine or something, or what's the deal?
Well, I'm not really trying to get off nicotine, but I just feel like, and this is stupid. People might judge me for this, but there's just certain situations where, like, you know, being the dude that like pulls out a vape and like has to quick hit it and like blow the smoke to the side. I just hate how that feels, you know. And it's also just I'm sure there's stuff in there that's probably not good for me. And
again, not our show, but a buddy of mine vaped for years, and the first time that vaping became a thing, and he blew into me like a giant blueberry cloud. I was like, "Whoa, that smells really good." It changed but then it was like every time we would talk on the phone, you'd hear,
yeah,
and I'm like, okay, that's kind of getting annoying.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you probably felt that way with me when you talked to me then too.
No, you hide it well, so, and you must.
But I mean, yeah, it is what it is. I'll be all right. Like, it's kind of just, am I going to do it or I'm not? Actually, funny story. You'll get a kick out of this. I was listening to Joe Rogan. Mrs. Birdie and I had 6 hours in the car. So I was listening to the Charlie Sheen episode.
Oh yeah.
And they were talking about his interview. And I'm like, I got to go listen to that. Not that what Charlie Sheen was doing and vaping is anywhere near the same, but just the way that Charlie Sheen was like, I was banging 7-gram rocks and I'm fine. I gave you people an experience that you're lucky to have gotten it. I got tiger blood, baby. Or like whatever he was saying. I'm like, dude, if that guy can get off that shit, I can get off this stupid nicotine.
I get more done in the morning in my underwear with my first cup of coffee than you do all day long. I think that was one of his lines. I love that shit. I used to quote that, like, do more in my underwear before my first cup of coffee.
That whole story is pretty remarkable, but I think we should start to dive into it, DA. And real quick, just for me to give a quick plug to the channel. If you have not hit that subscribe button, please go ahead and do that. Swipe down in the chat, press the like, press subscribe. That's the best way to support the channel. When you go onto my YouTube channel and press more links, you'll see all of these pop up. The Discord, I would highly recommend to join out of any of the other ones. Not that these all are not important, but the Discord is the 24/7 HQ for the Hive off stream. So it's always active. So I get the Hive Mind finds from, the questions of the day, and is probably the best way to get into contact with me. And then DA, I got your page up here.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Yeah, that's it's growing. I got how many total videos do you have? I'm at like it says 483. Your thumbnail's behind, man. I think I'm at like 588 or something now. But anyways, how many videos have you done? Do you know?
How many have I done? I have 317.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. Well, fair enough. I do a lot of like independent videos, and you do a lot more lives, I think, right?
Yeah, but I always post a quick cut the next day.
Yeah.
So technically that's 2 a day.
Yep.
I've been slacking on the shorts though, and also TikToks. It's just, I don't know what happened. It's just, it's different. I'd rather just spend my time and effort doing these lives, and if I can clip them, I can clip them.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
So let's move on to the Discord question of the day. And I think this is going to set the tone. I was kind of talking to you about this backstage. This comes from Perpetual, and they said, is there a reason you're not covering the assassination? 48 hours before he called out a group of people to Shapiro. Did they have something to do with it? Is it too controversial for your Hive? Well, I will say this as bluntly as I can. I don't believe that there's anything that is too controversial for the Hive. Initially off the jump, I was a little bit concerned on how would I be able to talk about it or show it with all the goriness and kind of the YouTube moderation of blood and guns and shit like that. But I'm really not too worried about it. I feel like in the Hive, if I had to make the analogy, it's like, well, there's a lot of people that are saying with Idaho 4, stop victim blaming, stop victim shaming. I feel like I apply that same mentality to the Charlie Kirk. If you liked him or if you didn't like him, at the end of the day, if he's on your team and you're like, this is bullshit, or if he's not on your team and it's like, he didn't do shit anyways, that's not what the Hive is for to discuss. It's rather to talk about, are we being told the official story? Is it tied to something deeper? Are we all being manipulated and walked into a trap for some sort of whatever? I mean, that's what I'm passionate about. As I've always said this, I'm passionate about what I call narrative warfare. I don't like just taking things at face value. And so it's not too controversial. I've seen a lot of other content, and DA was telling me backstage about some things that he's been able to do to get around kind of maybe the censoring of some of the gore. So we will get into it. And DA, I don't know if you have any talking points on this.
You're asking right now. Yeah, I mean,
no, just like you're going to cover it.
Yeah, I am gonna cover it, and and I will admit, when it first happened, I thought to myself, the first thing was, oh shit, this is like going to be one of the most polarizing stories in America. And then you simultaneously go, do I want to touch that, or how do you not touch that when it is going to be the biggest thing in America for a while? And in a way, it's tough, because even that day, right, that same day, wasn't there a shooting of kids in a school? And it's like that even got buried right away because Charlie Kirk's name was so big that it's like, oh, some kids got shot, and Charlie Kirk, by the way. And I was like, holy shit, this is going to take over everything.
Dude, my gut tells me this is just getting started.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I, like most people, probably opened up an app, and unexpectedly I'm seeing Charlie Kirk's neck explode 12 feet away from that one dude it was kind of the first video that went mega viral. And you just see it and you're like, Jesus Christ. And Mrs. Birdie had texted me saying, hey, I'm at the gym. I just saw Charlie Kirk got shot. Like, he's in critical condition. I'm like, what? So I pull it up. I texted her back and go, he's dead. There's no way he lived through that. There's no way. Right. And I think it kind of, caught everybody off guard. I think too, one of the other reasons why I didn't initially, jump on it right away was, I don't know, emotions are high. People don't think logically with that. And I understand kind of the human psyche aspect behind it when it comes to, the first few days of a big story like this. It's hard for everybody, no matter how many times you've looked into stuff like this, to kind of see through, okay, the dust is settled. Now there's a significant amount of questions that need to be answered. Would you agree, DA?
Oh, 100%. And that's the problem. See, this is fundamentally the problem when it comes to this guy in particular, is I literally had to ask myself, what is Devil's Advocates channel going to be? This guy made me have to reevaluate the question, because this story potentially is very conspiracy related. He could have been silenced by somebody because of what he was saying. So is it going to be a narrative shaping by the media, radical liberal who's declared war on conservatives? Or is it a conservative who Charlie, for them, wasn't conservative enough, so he shot him because he wasn't conservative enough? Is that even anything to do with it? Or is it a political assassination because Charlie literally was online to be possibly president someday with the track that he was going on and the youth movement that he was getting? And I thought to myself, I had to stop and ask myself, like, fuck, is this true crime? Or is this conspiracy theory? Because I've been following Jeffrey Epstein's thing for forever. And I thought, oh shit, I'm right back into the Epstein files, because I don't know how you avoid that topic with Kirk either. So I'm treating it with kid gloves as I figure out how to navigate this story, but you can't not talk about it.
Yeah. And I think that's one thing too, that not that anybody cares how I think or view, how am I going to run this channel? I try to run it as if, like, who am I in my everyday life? Am I interested in it or am I not? Because if I'm not interested in it, I'm not just going to stick to a niche of, Idaho 4 or true crime if I'm like bored of it. Like, you guys don't deserve that watching it. And also, I don't really think I'm going to end up boxing myself into a niche. If it's a true crime, that's this narrative warfare. If it's a quote political assassination, or if it's, fraud on Wall Street, I'll dive into it, if I'm into it. So that does lead me to my first question, not only for you, DA, but also to the Hive, and I'll throw some answers up on the screen. What happened to Charlie Kirk, outside of the obvious, but like, what really happened?
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, as far as here's the thing. I mean, Birdie, man, I have a hard time with this because every single time something like this happens, if I say I'm not sure that shot came from straight on, it could have come from a side angle on that shot because that's what it looks like to me. All of a sudden, it's like, dude, is there ever a fucking story you ever hear that you don't think there's a conspiracy going on? And I'm like, if there's ever somebody who's at the center of a conspiracy, it's this guy. Like,
Yeah.
so it's hard because I mean, there's lots of questions I have about actions that people took around there, angles, when you slow things down and you see, the shirt move and stuff like that, you have to wonder what happened there. And I don't want to get super graphic, but did the bullet ricochet off of a clavicle bone or did it ricochet off of a bulletproof? Some people said he had a bulletproof vest on, but anyways, I have been breaking down the videos and I'm like, shit, is everything in the world a conspiracy? Because can it not just be as straightforward as they say? But I don't know that it will be in this one.
Well, I think we need to also talk about, like, let's start there. So a lot of people right away, they're like, there is no way that an amateur makes that shot. I have two things to say about that. So although I'm not a big hunter, I've shot a lot of guns, and with my dad growing up, we'd go to the range a lot. We didn't hunt because I would play football, and during deer hunting season in the Midwest, we were still playing. But we'd go to the range, and what I've learned is that if you get a scope dialed in and you're just relaxed and you're shooting a 200-yard shot, there are kids that can take it, make that shot after a couple hours. Adults, it's what makes it a pro level hit, in my opinion, is the nerves.
Yeah,
you got one chance at this.
Yeah,
it's where he was hit.
Yeah,
which is that an exit wound or an entry wound? I do have a question on that. Where and I don't want to derail, but I think we need to address that. In my mind, it is possible that somebody who is a novice or above amateur could have taken that shot and could have gotten lucky in general.
You bring up a good point that's worth talking about if we can for a second, which is the range and the nerves, because originally I was told it was a 250-yard shot, and I made a comment in my video that was a relatively long shot, and someone was like, that's not a long shot, that's typical like hunting range kind of thing.
Right.
Then I heard it was 150 yards. I'm like, well, there's a big difference between 250 and 150 yards. But again, the element that people aren't necessarily factoring in is I'm just guessing, but if you've never killed another human being before, it's different than shooting an animal, right? So most of us would have a pause or a little bit reluctance about shooting a human being, and there just seemed to be, the perfect shot. It was just like, I don't know. I mean, again, you can train for these things. And if you're detached from it and you're just viewing it as a target, not as a human being, then maybe you still make that shot. But there's a lot of questions.
What I'm trying to say is that it is nowhere near like only a pro is going to be able to do it. I mean,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And also the type of round, if you don't understand, like, was it a 223? Was it I think they said it was a 30-06, right? So the wind and the trajectory in that short of a distance, I mean, maybe it affects a 223 or a 5.56, but a 30-06, it doesn't drop in the wind nearly as much if you're using a hunting rifle, right? There's a difference in the ballistics of it. And I'm not trying to sound like a gun expert. It's just I grew up. My dad sold guns, and I do know a thing or two about shooting. But
wait a minute, let's stop for a second, because in a way it wasn't a perfect shot if you think about it, because if the shooter was probably going, I mean, I hate to be blunt, right? But the shooter was probably going for a headshot. Well, he didn't really hit the head. Neither did he hit the chest, which would be like the biggest target to hit. It was like in the neck area, whatever. So was that a sign of not a perfect shot? It was close, and it was, because again, it's close range. But would you have shot that particular area on purpose, or is that just a little lower than they were shooting for, a little higher than they were shooting for?
Well, we also have to talk about too. Are you, or is anybody in the hive wondering, is that an entry or an exit wound? Now, again, I'm thinking out loud. That bullet, more times than not, is probably not going to hit somebody in a rather fleshy area like that and not continue to pass through. So I've wondered, it's like, so you got hit here, the blood comes out. Where is it on? Where's the bullet hole in the tent? Where's the blood on the tent? Where, like, do you know what I'm saying? Versus if it came from the side and then it came out and then I don't know. I've not been around a lot of gunshot wounds. It's just something that I have wondered. I've also seen slow motion frame by frame videos where that black spot looks identical to the black spot that ends up on his neck. It's over on his shirt a couple frames before.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you think about it?
I mean, my first impression, and again, I don't know if camera angles got reversed or whatever, but my first impression is that it looked like it struck him in the collarbone area and the bullet ricocheted and exited out the neck. I mean, again, this is graphic stuff to talk about, but when you talk about was that an exit or an entrance wound, it seemed to be I hate to say it because it's so graphic, but the pouring of blood out the side of the neck seemed to be the exit wound to me. So it looked like it struck him on the other side and then ricocheted up and out through the neck is what it looked like to me. But and again, it's gruesome, so I didn't want to have to watch it over and over and over again. But I watched it enough times that I'm like, yeah, it looks like it struck on the opposite side and then exited out the neck when I looked at it. But then I started to factor in the question about, which way his head goes when he gets hit, and where in the recoil of the body, and it just gets a little bit morbid to talk about. But you're gonna have to, because again, to find out where the shot came from, all those things have to be factored in.
Right, and I know there's a lot of people that are saying it's his microphone.
Yeah, right. It looked like a lapel mic when I first saw it, but
what I was saying is, I saw a video that what people are saying is mic, which I get it, right? He would wear it for social media. I'm not saying that that's not what it is, but it was weird because where that was when it was broken down frame by frame, it like jumped. Like it I have to find the video. And again, that is one of the reasons too, with going deep on this conspiracy, it's going to be hard to show some things with the blood and the gore and everything on a live. So that's where the Discord comes into play.
Yeah. I mean, and the way I handle it's funny because the way I handled it is I showed the gore shot, if you will, on my members only area for like a handful of people. I have a very small number of members, but it was like the only place I didn't feel comfortable putting it on the mainstream. And yet I think it has gone mainstream. It's gone viral. It's been, there's people talking about my 13-year-old kid just watched this guy's neck explode kind of thing. And they shouldn't have to see that. All I can say from my own to sleep at night is I wasn't the one that showed your 13-year-old kid that. So somebody else did that. But I'm not even saying it's wrong if somebody does. It's all over the place at this point. So I'm not even trying to shame anybody who's done that. I just,
I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that too, because, I want to, and actually before I just continue going down this, DA, let's keep ourselves on track and not just bounce over to every little thing that's weird.
Yeah.
And that's more so on me, not that you were doing that. But when I say what happened to Charlie Kirk, let's address the technicalities of like the shot. I do think that an amateur could have made it. The type of gun, what they said he used, very questionable. But I'd like to get into the mainstream narrative right now.
Yeah. Yes.
Is there anybody in the Hive, and I'd like to get your thoughts, DA, and as they answer, you please answer this. Hive, type of 1 if you believe the mainstream narrative surrounding Charlie Kirk as we are here today and what the FBI and the Utah LE has put out in regards to the suspected shooter. And DA, if you want to go ahead and
I'm not 100% positive that the media has glommed onto the official answer yet, but I mean I right away I said this is going to be posed as the narrative of a leftist shooting a conservative, but then it quickly shifted to there's indications that somebody who was conservative thought Charlie wasn't conservative enough, which I think is a weird. The weirder of the motives is he's not conservative enough, so I'm going to shoot him. But
see, it's like, and I don't want to cut you off.
Yeah, no.
Really, this is. Do not insult our intelligence. No matter what side you're on, like, don't try to tell us that somebody shot Charlie Kirk because he wasn't conservative enough. For God's sakes,
right?
Everyone's gonna be like, "What the hell?" I think he was about as conservative as it gets, right? I would say, like with Christian values, things like that. But they didn't just run with, "Oh, it's somebody on the opposite side that doesn't agree with him." They said, "No, it's actually somebody on his own side that wants him
Right.
to be more conservative. So he killed him.
Yeah.
Give me a break. We're not that.
It
stupid.
doesn't.
Don't insult
That doesn't
us.
make sense. Right.
Right.
It doesn't make sense. Yeah. I think here's the thing. And again, how do you avoid the conspiracy theories? I think it's always interesting. These shooters are always in their 20s. One thing that's been known is I hate to get into this.
Why?
Having studied conspiracy theories for my whole life, it's easier to manipulate 20-year-old males. So it's easy for somebody to shape a 20-something-year-old mind and radicalize them. Even in Muslim countries, that it's 20-year-old males that are radicalized. The 20-year-old male is an easy person to radicalize and use as your trigger to get done with what you want. So at the end of the day, both things can be true. It can be this kid who was manipulated and radicalized by somebody who wanted Charlie dead. And so he got himself in and buddied up with somebody and radicalized a young guy that'll pull it off. And they just become an extension of your plan, you know?
I think at the end of the day is, in addition to me saying, don't insult our intelligence, which they do on a daily basis with any story. Right.
Yeah.
Let's also hold ourselves accountable. What would the motive be for the news to insult our intelligence? And it's, in my opinion, quite frankly, very simple, written on their foreheads. They want us divided, Hive. They want us divided. At the end of the day, they want chaos. They want all this, it was your fault. No, it's your fault. Oh, he deserved it. No, he didn't deserve it. Look at us. And we fall into the trap as a country every damn time. I'm getting sick of that. And I've used that quote of, we have systems in place that will function as long as we do not have a corrupt media that is controlling how they function with their narrative. Right. And so I do think there is aspects of an inside job here. I 100% do. I think that some of the hand signals in the back, I also think that there's just very simple questions about what transpired after he got hit that kind of make you go, again, this doesn't make sense. Like, Charlie Kirk is getting carried and thrown in the back of a Tahoe or a Denali, whatever it is. Well, where's the blood that's dripping out of him on the ground and all over the guys as they carry him there? I didn't see any, and there's clear video of him being carried. Multiple vehicles.
There are right now, a buddy and I are also kind of digging into this, and there are so many weird angles of shit that don't make sense. People that were arrested early on and then let go, who happen to be coincidentally at weird other mass shootings or other things that happen in America. And you're like, how the fuck does that same guy end up at all these things? Like, there's just weird shit. A plane that took off an hour after the shooting that went off radar. Like, there's a million rabbit holes to chase down about what really happened. Yeah, Zinn, correct, right?
Zinn.
Yeah, Zinn. I mean, that guy's.
Break.
What they say the odds of him have been at
Billions.
the towers was like
Billion.
1 in 2 billion or some shit like that. And I don't know how they did the math, but I was like, what?
Can I just ask a question? I've been waiting all night to ask this to you. Did we just watch a false flag?
Right.
Did we?
That's what it feels like to me. I'm telling you, that's what it feels like to me. It's what it feels like to me. I think
it has to be asked at this point.
Yeah. It's what it feels. I feel, and maybe it's because of how long I was in Epstein. I feel like the things that he was saying, the things that were happening in the Epstein files, with that's very, very likely involved in this. Whatever the case may be, here's the thing: whether you liked the guy or not, Charlie Kirk was a force to be reckoned with in the MAGA circles. He was making a lot of waves. He was getting a lot of people behind him, and that man was a threat. If he decided to talk about anything he wanted to talk about that was a danger to the quote unquote elites. And I think that's where you need to look, is who wanted Charlie dead. Make a list. I know it's a long list because a lot of people wanted Charlie Kirk dead, to be frank, but I would put at the bottom of the list.
Pull it off.
So, yeah, who could pull it off, who wanted him dead. And I would say follow the money. That's another one of those things, follow the money. But we're just getting started. Like you said, this is going to be enormous. But
let me say this, because you just brought up a good point. You had said there's a lot of people that want him dead. Can we also address the fact that if it was a professional hit, let's say there was some foreign intelligence or rogue intelligence aspect, would you agree or disagree with what I say here? They didn't take him out because he's out there talking to youth about Christian and conservative values. Now you could say the influence maybe, but I think if it was somebody with some sort of intelligence ties, rogue or foreign, or rogue at home or foreign, I believe that it had to do with who he was connected to and what he knew, and they knew that he had the platform to expose it if he chose to.
Yeah.
Not if he just would have stayed status quo with what he was doing. I think they knew he knew something.
And this is going to be a harder concept to explain, but I was talking to another person about this, and here's the principle, whether you believe it or not. And this is what I feel. If it was a hit, like some kind of assassination for political reasons, if it was a hit, those kind of things often don't happen just for one reason. In other words, it happens when it makes sense for several agendas at one time. So if you want to simultaneously start an argument about something and keep people divided, and you want to be able to get gun control passed because there's that whole argument, and you're able to shut his mouth on a particular topic, when you line up 4 or 5 different interests and it starts to make sense, like, dude, it makes sense. This guy needs to die, and we can use it to control this narrative, and shut his mouth on this. That's when those assassinations happens. And that's why it gets complex, because it's not just one thing. It's often many things that contributed to it happening.
Well, I think we have to address another giant rumor too with the foreign intelligence. Like, a lot of people are saying this is Israel. This is Israel and the donors, and he recently spoke out about it. And guys, let's just all be adults here. There is a lot of talk about it, and I don't even think that it's anti-Semitic necessarily. I think that it's just like a pattern people are starting to recognize. I think that there's a reason a lot of world leaders are afraid to speak out about Israel. I think that they do have deep pockets. They do have strong ties. They are connected. They're very well connected. And there's a lot of stuff that goes into the power they have outside of politics, right? But is it a coincidence? This was slightly foreshadowed now after the fact. You can go back and look at Shapiro's show. You can go back and look at some tweets from people that are close to Charlie that saying, hey, he's got a feeling things are going awry. And now whether that's again, we go way down this damn rabbit hole and put my tinfoil hat on. I'd put my tinfoil body armor suit on to go. This conspiracy would allow me to do that probably for the first time ever. We could go way deep. But I mean, I know you used to study religion, correct? Like, what is your thoughts on the political temperature of Israel and this situation?
Well, I mean, because again, they've got me terrified. The media, YouTube, they got you terrified, because if you start anytime you start talking about Israel, it related to a conspiracy, then somebody will jump in and say that's hate speech, because they can't get their mind to stop going off of this narrative, and it's a way to shut it down. So yeah, I have feelings about Israel and what Charlie's platform meant in that regards. And again, it relates back to Epstein and who, look, Ghislaine Maxwell, who was with Epstein, her dad was in Israeli intelligence. There was a long argument that Epstein and Ghislaine were running a honeypot to basically lure political figures into the house, provide them young girls, get it on videotape, and then compromise them and use that to get clout and control over the U.S. government. And whether they did that on behalf of the Israeli government or with the Israeli government, whatever, those kind of rumors have been in the wind for forever. And so how do you ignore that? And yet, if you say Israel, all of a sudden, hate speech, shut it down. We're not gonna do that here. And it's like, what a great situation you've created, and we can't even talk about it without being called conspiracy theorist, hate speech, all that shit.
Bro, how weird is it that Donald Trump and Netanyahu tweeted down to the fucking second, damn near, about Charlie Kirk's death at the same time?
Right?
And why is foreign media breaking the news initially?
How weird is it? Yes, it was scheduled ahead of time, the meeting, but how weird is it that they voted to not release the Epstein's files within an hour or so of Kirk being shot? Now, they had that meeting scheduled, but they were like, nope, we're not going to release that information. How interesting on that timing as well. So there's a lot of weird shit that happened right around this. But
are the rumors true that Netanyahu tried to fund TPUSA and Charlie Kirk denied it? Right? I mean,
right.
That's a factual question. That's a factual question.
At this point, you have to look into all those things, and we should look into all those things, and we should ask those questions, because you know who's not going to ask those questions? Mainstream media. You know what mainstream media is going to focus on? Some
who runs the mainstream media?
20-year-old. Yeah, exactly.
Come on, guys.
The government owns mainstream media. They're going to tell the narrative the government wants them to do, and they're going to stay away from anything that gets anywhere close to what they want you to look at.
It's like, here's how I feel about talking about, and this is not just going to be, hey, everything in this case is Israel. This stream's not going to turn into like, it's all the Jews. Like, I'm not going to say that, right? Because again, but I do think it's an important topic that if it's relevant, meaning the Netanyahu with the Trump tweeting at the same time, Netanyahu rumors funding TPUSA, you look at a mainstream narrative, and we all know a lot of people from Israel or their ex-Mossad, they sit on these giant news networks with tight narrative control. I just wonder, how do you not ask the question with somebody like Charlie Kirk if changing his stance on Israel causes?
You have to.
How do you have to? It's not. Yeah.
You would be intellectually dishonest to not ask the question. Whether or not it turns out to be true, you would be intellectually dishonest to not talk about it. I have to, by the way, if I can, Birdie, I have to say, I shout out to Everything Me on my channel. He just gifted 50 memberships to people on my side, and everybody in there. My whole screen's blowing up with everybody who got a gift membership on my side. So thank you so much for that. Appreciate it. Top dog. Yeah. Thank you, Top Dog. So yeah, I'm still watching people get free memberships, so it's amazing over here.
I love that. I gotta pee quick. You could.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. So I mean, at the end of the day, by the way, why we're covering why he's gone. I mean, I have to say, when Birdie said we're going to talk about Charlie Kirk tonight, there was a moment of, oh shit, I just kind of peed myself a little bit, because again, this is going to be a very, very, very polarizing situation in America. But as you know, as we were just talking about, Birdie and I, it would be dishonest to you guys for us to pretend like it's not the number one thing on our mind right now. And by the way, while he's gone, let's take a moment to address another issue. Luigi Mangione is facing a hearing tomorrow in New York over the shooting of Brian Thompson. And if you don't think there's connections, not necessarily connections to the two shooters, but if you don't think the media is already making connections to things that happened in that shooting to this shooting, for example, engraved bullet casings happened in both cases, right? One was against a health insurance CEO, where there was engravings on the bullets that said deny, delay, defend, or depose. And now we have bullet casings that are engraved in this shooting. We have a 20-something-year-old male athletic who's shot the guy, same kind of situation. They're already making those connections. Both of them have gaming references. There was Monopoly money left behind at the other shooting. So pay attention to how that narrative is going to be shaped as well, because I'm telling you, Luigi Mangione's name is going to get brought up more and more in this situation, just like they did when Tamara shot up people in New York and said, oh, that was inspired by Luigi Mangione. Watch them quickly say that this shooting of Kirk was inspired by Luigi Mangione. I would not be surprised.
That would be wild. I could hear you. Mrs. Birdie is watching you on her laptop, so I could hear you talking about that coming up.
Sweet. I wasn't sure.
No. I was just going to say, like, the theme that I was telling you backstage and what I kind of said in the intro is, I don't think that it's a coincidence, DA, that every time something major like this happens, the news is so quick to make sure all of the mainstream channels align themselves.
Yeah.
Very quickly. None of them waver, which is concerning. Real journalism, if there's 4 different news channels, there should be 4 different takes. We are being deceived with the perception of choice.
Here's the thing. Let's talk about that. I'll try to be brief. Let's talk about this. If you're one of the major heads of news, if you're a CNN and Fox, your ABC News, whatever, you have access to the president in the press room, right? You're invited to the White House to cover news. So how easy is it for them to say, if you cover certain topics or if you talk about certain things, we will no longer consider you real news and you will not be invited to the White House. You will not have access to the president. You will not have access to this. And so it's self-control. Every media outlet will play ball with what the government wants and say, okay, what do you not want us to talk about today? Because if you decide that we're not real news because we're asking questions that real news wouldn't ask, you'll just cut off our access. We won't have access to the White House. We won't have access to major press releases. So it's controlled media by design, because they're never going to step outside the bounds.
Let me let me tell you a perfect example of that. When you said, well, this isn't a real news question. Okay. So the day after Charlie Kirk got assassinated, I had a meeting for one of my other businesses, and kind of backstage before the official meeting started, everyone's talking about it. And I go, who do you guys think did it? Like, do you think there's any sort of like foreign intelligence thing? And like, they know that I'm kind of the conspiracy theorist, but around these guys, usually it's different. Like, I get on here and I talk to you all like you're my close buddies.
Yeah.
And they're like, what do you mean? And I go, I don't know. There might be something with like Israel. I think Charlie Kirk like changed his stance. Dog, they looked at me like I had a giant nutsack on my forehead. They were like, what is this guy talking about? One of the guys actually goes, well, no, it would be Russia, if anybody. And I'm like, oh my God. Or it'd be China. Why would it be them? And I started thinking to myself, like, see, this is the craziest part, though. I didn't try to change his mind or anything. I'm just like, oh yeah, who knows? I mean, I'm just saying, there's some weird things with it. But it is weird how the normies, and these people are very smart people from a business standpoint. But if you think about it, they're smart in the lane that they know. Yeah. Anything outside of that lane, it's like, whoop, see ya. Don't care. Why would it be Israel? That sounds like the craziest shit ever.
Right. right. We have our marching orders. We know what it's about. These are the areas you're allowed to go down, and here's the areas you're not allowed to go down. Right. And it's just like the classic, like, it's always the Russians. It's always Putin. And I've said this before, hate them or love them. One of my, I guess the most powerful quotes that I've ever heard Donald Trump say in an interview was, somebody said, yeah, you're supporting a murderer with Putin. And Donald Trump had said, well, do you think we're so innocent? And that was just a powerful thing. I'm like, damn. Right. It could have been anybody that said that. I would have been like, God damn, dude. Like, the reporter didn't even know what to say either. He was just kind of like, whoa. And it's true. Right. Like, we're not that innocent as a country at all. No. And no. And that's, I mean, I don't want to, there's a phrase that I grew up with, which is love your country, fear your government. And here, let me say this, like, not anti-American stance, but we don't do things in general as a government for altruistic reasons. We don't do shit just because it's the right thing to do. We do things because it makes financial sense and it gives us power and it gives us sway. If we do anything in the Middle East, it's because it gives us control over the Middle East. If we do, so again, at the end of the day, people who are not paying attention will be like, oh, we do all these great things. We don't do jack or shit if it doesn't benefit us some way, power or money ways. But that's the world that I live in, at least. But here, I'll share with you my first theory. This is like within 20 minutes of watching the video. Okay. This is like the theory that I told Mrs. Birdie. This is the theory that I was telling my business partner. And I said, dude, you got to look at whoever asked that question. To ask it about, I think it was like trans and gun violence, right? And then for him to set the mic down and boom, it happens. That was that was very surface level of like, that seemed coordinated. And then you got that old man, George Zinn, yelling, I'm the shooter, almost like a distraction. So it went like question, shot, distraction. Yes. That was my initial theory of like, and why, whoa. And why does somebody do that? Like, did Zinn yell out that he was the shooter? Did he do that? I don't know if it was him. There was an old guy that was yelling. Because and if it's that guy that they had bent over with the glasses, if somebody does that, again, usually that's to distract everybody so that they look in the wrong way so that the shooter can get away. And again, I felt the same way when I saw the shooting. I immediately was like that was an assassination. Like, there was that I knew immediately in my gut, like, that was not just some random person in the audience. That was a flat out assassination. I'm not laughing, but I have to laugh at this. I was watching that, I did have the mainstream on in the background as I'm scrolling my phone, because I am curious. Like, I did hear one person on Fox say it was 75 yards, and then he quickly corrected himself to 200 yards. And I'm like, whoa. Right. Not like, oh, it was 175 yards. No, just do it. No, he said 75 yards. I mean, 200 yards. Like, that's a weird mess up. Right. Okay. Then I heard another anchor say, well, what if it was one of his supporters shooting his gun in celebration? I'm like,
who are these people?
Right.
Like who
Right.
gave that guy a microphone? So I don't know, man. But so I have a couple questions that I'd like to ask the Hive that I have kind of prepared. And do you guys believe? Type a 1 in the chat for yes, 2 no, and DA, you answer these as it's coming in. So 1 for yes, 2 for no. I'm going to ask you guys 3 questions. We'll dive into each one. Do you guys believe that the shot came from the building they're telling us it came from?
Fuck. I don't think
Start
so.
off right away and jump into that rabbit hole.
I know. Again, it just, the angle doesn't, I mean, I'd have to go look at that a million times, but the angle doesn't look right to me. It doesn't look like it came from straight on. It came from the side, it looks like to me, but unless there's a hell of a ricochet, again, I don't think it's a straight on shot. But
there was initially also a slow motion video. It did look like Charlie was wearing a vest, but people have said no because you could see his nipple through his shirt.
Right. That's
but
what I heard.
There was rumors that it had ricocheted off the top of the vest and up.
And that I can see because that would change the trajectory. So if it came on and it ricocheted off of even I hate to say, but even a collarbone kind of thing, a clavicle bone, something like that could make a bullet ricochet. So did it,
30-06, that's going through the bone and not even breaking.
You would think,
stride.
that would just break. Again, I don't want to get morbid graphic, but depending on the caliber, of course, it could just break bone and not ricochet. But
well, yeah, where are we at on that? I don't think he was wearing a vest. I think whatever was under his shirt was either some.
It doesn't
sort of
look like it.
Yeah.
I mean, look at him in that picture right there. It doesn't look like he's like that clothing isn't making room for a vest. I don't know. I just don't see the vest, but I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm trying to find it. I don't think he was wearing a vest because when he's walking around, he's throwing hats, especially in a white t-shirt. You'd see it up top. You'd see the vest up top.
Right.
Yeah, no vest.
And I'd even question wearing a white shirt with a lot of bulletproof vests, aren't they dark? You would think it would stand out pretty easy, but
all right.
Unless you have a white bulletproof vest.
Here's the other question now. So a lot of people said 2. So no, they're not buying that it came from that position.
Yeah.
Okay. Second question. Do you guys believe that there's an absurd amount of odd coincidences that are numeric or numerology in regards to Freemasons, such as the 47, 47, 47, 11 plus 11 plus 11 is 33. Freedom is 33. There's a lot of weird Freemason numerology in this. 1 for yes, 2 for no.
You know what's hilarious about that? So what's hilarious about that? I was reading an NPR article and the last paragraph said 33 minutes after the shot, and I was like, are you kidding
33
me?
hours by Cash Patel, which let's talk about that. Seeing Valhalla too.
Yeah.
That's like reserved for like military members, isn't it?
I don't know. I don't want to speak on that, but yeah. It was just, I saw the numerology stuff as well. And I was like, man, again, wow. I don't know where to go with that. So what was your question? Do you see it? Yes.
Do you think there's an odd amount of numerology in your face?
An odd amount. Yeah. Is it purpose or not? I don't know, but yeah, there is some weird shit.
33 hours for both Robinson and Oswald. Jesus Christ. See, Hive, this is how I know I found all my people, because everybody in here is like on it.
And here's the argument. Here's the argument, right? There's an argument to be made that if a group, I hate to do this, but if a group like the Freemasons, for example, were involved in it, they like to leave their calling card on it by doing things like that. And again, if you believe that the media is controlled, then having media put out numbers like 33 hours and publishing that, making it a thing, it's like, hey, here's the signature, this was us, but
I mean, so, and then my third question is rather simple, but if I was a bet man, I would say they want conspiracies. They wanted to stoke the flames of conspiracies from the jump.
Yes. So yes, so nothing for a lot of people jumping on the Freemason thing or numerology makes you look a little bit of a nutbag. So again, if you are going to pull off a shooting, follow the logic, you purposely leave numerology around because those tinfoil hat types will jump all over the numerology and discredit themselves because it won't have anything to do with it. But they'll one could argue they laid the numerology in place so that you'll jump all over it, so they can go, there's those damn tinfoil hats again. This had nothing to do with anything, you know. So it's so complex.
And it's exactly what I did. I think it's exactly what a lot of people in here probably did. We're like, right. Jesus Christ, they're putting it in our face. They do this every time. I mean, it's just like, so, I mean, those were like my big 3 questions that I had. And I have a couple of other ones. I mean, like, why would the shooter disassemble the gun just to reassemble the gun, wrap it in a towel, and then leave it in the woods? And
yes.
And citing a scope if you're not a professional shooter. And you understand, if you drop a gun with a mounted scope on it, I mean, you could knock the scope and change it by, you know.
Oh yeah. Even if, just a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, what do you think about the gun? Is that even the right gun? I mean, like, it didn't make it.
Yeah. So I have to say my spidey senses went off with the, okay, so he plans all this and does a getaway and then just leave. And why would you wrap the gun? Like, my mind can't even get the sentence out. Why would you wrap the gun in a towel and then leave it out in the open? It just, like, none of that made sense to me. I was like, that's flat out planted gun. And I'm like, oh, here we go. Everybody's going to be conspiracy theorist DA. But I'm like, again, my spidey sense tells me those details don't make a lot of sense. And so now we have to look into all those things. You have to look into all those things because those are clues that it doesn't make sense.
Dude, and then let's also talk about this. Within 48 hours, Charlie King is in or did I just say Charlie King? Charlie Kirk.
You did.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Charlie Kirk is in a casket. His wife is recording it in his hands. She's got a giant G ring on. I mean, that is so quick. So where the autopsy? What about the hospital? When did the hospital pronounce it? Who pronounced it at the hospital? Like, how do they not have an ambulance on scene at a college campus at an event with 3,000 people, only 6 officers and some plainclothes officers, and then 2 or 3 members on Charlie Kirk's security detail? Yeah. This is screaming, we are going to drive JFK right through the middle of Dallas, Texas at this turn where we slow down. The cops on the motorcycles drop back a little bit, and he's in an open limo. That's what this almost felt like.
Right. And you know what's funny about that? It's funny that you mentioned that, because someone had said to me, DA, if it was a political assassination, they wouldn't do it on a college campus in front of a whole bunch of people. And I'm like, you mean so they wouldn't kill Kennedy in front of everyone? And they, like, there was so many people there. Wait a minute. That's right. There's still people in America who don't believe that Kennedy was assassinated by anybody but just a nutbag in the freaking, library. But anyways,
not to derail us. Hive, this is a question, because I think this is an important. I think this is an important aspect that DA just said. There are people in this country who still believe that JFK was taken out by the lone wolf narrative. Okay. So my question is, what is the most obvious conspiracy that is true that normies have no idea about? And I've used the example of JFK with my mother. I don't know if that's where kind of my little conspiracy, like, genetic blood came from when I was younger, but my mom couldn't wrap her head around the declassified JFK files. And she's always thought the magic bullet theory just doesn't make sense. That bullet looks like, I mean, there's more fragments in dude's arm or his hand than are missing from that bullet, right? Like, there's a lot of oddities with the JFK thing, but, like, what do you think is the biggest conspiracy that people believe is true when it's so obviously not? And I think the moon landing might be it, like some people are saying.
Yeah. And by the way, I don't remember exactly. I don't want to sidetrack us too much on JFK, but if I remember right, I mean, that's a good one. The moon landing is one of those ones that a lot of people think that didn't happen. And it was, anyways, I could go down that rabbit hole. But on the JFK thing, it seemed like they came out, and when Trump ordered some of those declassified documents to Trump, one of the first things I remember an official saying was, hey, we haven't released everything yet, but we can confirm it wasn't a lone gunman kind of thing. And I'm like, so if you did admit it wasn't a lone gunman, you've lied to America for 50 years and covered this shit up and made us feel like we're dumbasses for even believing it. And now you're like, you know what? You're right. It wasn't a lone gunman. I'm like, fuck you. Yeah. Like, apparently if you let enough time go by, you can just lie to people and say, oh yeah, we lied to you for 50 years. But
it bothers me because look at, okay, here, I'm going to try to sum this up. What you just said, DA. They've lied to us for 50 years. Okay. Think of, in general, with things like this. If the truth is not out there, and there's only people like us looking into it, but the masses believe it. It could be the moon landing, it could be JFK, it could be 9/11, it could be Gulf of Tonkin, it could be this, whatever it is. What really pisses me off to my core is that when it's not the truth, think of everything else in the background. If they would lie about this, when it's right there in your face, what else are they lying about? And people can't wrap their head around it. What are they lying about with medicine and pharma and insurance and food? And like, you know, guys, just there's so much stuff that's like, they'll put this in your face and give you the finger and laugh as they walk away. Just like, you guys are never they're never going to believe you. I can't stand that. I can't stand it.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, and I swear to God, like there's a certain percentage of the population that no matter how many times the government gets caught telling you or admitting that they lied to you about something major, they still like, no,
you're gonna pass.
So that was then. That's usually the case. Well, that was a long time ago. We haven't done that kind of shit for a long time. Like, really? Of course they wait 50 years before telling you they lied about certain things, because at that time half the people that matter died, and now they're just like, hey, by the way, another generation, you don't really care. This is, you know, but it affected a lot of people.
The thing that is encouraging though is, like, I don't know, are you an X?
Yeah.
Okay. So I will say X does seem to be the platform that most, quote, like news conspiracies or like obvious contradictions get called out on first.
Yeah.
It seems like it goes like X and then TikTok.
Yeah.
TikTok
X is where I first saw the assassination videos, because if you turn off the filtering there, you can see everything.
How quick? I mean, dude, it had to have been within what, 30 minutes. It was flooded with, there is no way that what they said happened. I mean, it was like immediate. So yeah, there is a silver lining to people like you and me. If this was to be multiplied to the masses and everybody in the hive is doing the same thing, there is a certain point. It's just, how do you get through to the people that aren't on those platforms? They don't follow that. Their algorithm's not showing it. I mean, yeah. What has to change? What would have to change for the news to not be able to lie? And this is extreme. This is extreme. But it's like, okay, fine. I'm going to go there. Like in the Nuremberg trials, the journalists and the media were a part of those trials that were also killed and executed. There was a number of journalists, whether or not. Yeah. Not that I'm going to say we need to kill the people that are anchors.
Yeah, right.
Of course not. But what I'm trying to say is, what would prevent? Is it the Smith-Mundt Act? Does that need to be repealed? Is it about time we start talking about that shit? Shouldn't it be illegal to use propaganda on American people? That you want to talk about the world's biggest psyop? For God's sakes, I swear to God, if this Charlie Kirk thing was a psyop to repeal the Smith-Mundt Act, and they go, see, this is what we are allowed to do because this act is in place, which, dude, realistically, that does allow them to do shit like this. If that was repealed, they couldn't do that. That's deep, but we can go there.
It is, and it is, and I didn't tell you this, and it's not because of any.
Or reenact it. What did I say? Repeal it? Sorry, I meant.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Was it repealed? That allowed the propaganda?
It was put. I think that was put into place that allowed the government to basically use propaganda against the United States citizens.
Yes.
And so yeah, and it's funny because I got a guy that him and I are talking about it all the time. We're like, man, we should do some shows talking about that. Just like you said, like the fact that you know about it as well. We should be talking about that. We should be talking about essentially the documents that allow our government and our media to propagandize the citizenry and lie to us about shit. And they're allowed to do it. It's in writing. And so we should be talking about that shit. And you're right. And so the question, I guess the rhetorical question of what has to be done is people like you and I, in my opinion, not to put us on a pedestal, need to be one of many, many voices that are calling that shit out. Look, here's the documents that tell you. They will lie to you. The government will lie to you. The media will lie to you. They're allowed to propagandize and sway public opinion with lies. And if you don't think that was written in writing for a reason, and they're not doing it, come on, wake up.
Well, and then you have to look on the opposite side of it. Or are they going to use this to continue to push scraping the internet for certain rhetoric? Is this going to fall right into the same type of, that dude on Fox News the day after the Minnesota shooting saying, I wish my program would have been up and running, scraping everyone's data. We could have prevented that. Are they going to use it in that light? Because I could totally see that happening too.
Yes.
So,
right. I mean, yes. God, there's just so many. Yes, you can use these things. If we had a mass surveillance state where we had surveillance on everybody at all times, maybe we could have prevented this from happening. How many people are going to jump on this for their agenda to get what they want passed? I know I sound like a nutbag because there's a million. Again, these events always have more than one agenda, more than one thing going on. But
and so like, obviously this is a contrarian thinking live stream based in conspiracy. At least, DA, you say you give yourself, one night a week, but this seems. And I'm not putting words in your mouth. I'm just knowing you and having done streams in the past with you. This one seems to not even tap into conspiracy. This one seems to tap into, I believe you used the word like it'd be intellectually irresponsible to not think that way in a certain way.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, I want to bring up something, by the way. This has been around for, God, damn near a decade. And I don't know why nobody's talking about it. It's not classified information. But it's not talked about very much. The government has been working on for a long time being able to use people's cell phones in real-time situations like this college campus to basically take over everyone's phone instantaneously and get eyes and ears on the crime scene in real time and take over your phones and use everyone's microphones, everyone's videos, and put it on a wall somewhere where they got a million phones placed up and look for data in real time. So did that happen here? Because I mean, I know the technology's there. They've been trying to do this and make basically everyone's phone in America be for this particular situation, a college campus situation. I need 1,000 eyes on it. Give me everybody's camera. Who's got video of the shooter? Somebody, I guarantee you, had a camera or a phone that saw the shooter. So we've got it somewhere, right?
Well, and I do think that a lot of people with the roof. There was something that was going viral where this guy was like super zoomed in. And he was kind of like holding his finger up and you could see like kind of a little blob on the corner of that building.
Yeah.
And he was zoomed in on it.
Did you see the green bush on one of the lower tiers?
You want to know what's so funny? I've not seen many people talk about that.
Right.
I've not seen many people talk about that. And that bush, somebody said it's not there. Again, I don't know who these people are, but if you're going to say we have a sniper that's disguised as a bush.
It's what it looks like. They're like, what's with that fucking plant sitting there? Like, and you're like,
has anybody looked into that fern? Has anybody looked into that fern? That fern looks like it's got a 30-06
fern. Right.
Yeah.
That's a suspicious fern.
I mean, God, like, yeah. And so I kind of want to go back to that Smith-Mund Act in 2012, right? Which is, we know it's the legal framework that domestic propaganda is allowed to be pushed through mainstream media. Do you have your thoughts on that? Like what would you, because are we that naive to think that propaganda wasn't being used on us pre-2012?
No, I mean, yeah, no, I think propaganda has been used on the public forever, but they're getting more sophisticated with it, I think, and making legal loopholes to do it as well.
I do think that Modernization Act in 2012 that did happen, though, it was like it was the kill switch on mainstream media having any notoriety stay. They got the green light that we could just light everything on fire. There's no repercussions.
Yeah. Yeah. And we do need to educate. I think we do need to work that in more and more, talking about to educate people about what's happening.
Yeah.
With the control of your media and the control of the narratives and all the control. Just it's massive amounts of control of the population, shape the narrative to what you want, make them look left when they should be looking right, and all that shit. That's what we should be talking about.
Right. And for anybody that doesn't know what the Smith-Mund Act is, it was originally passed in 1948, and it was meant to prohibit the U.S. government from broadcasting propaganda to its own citizens. So it was illegal for your government to propagandize you. That
got repealed.
Yep. That changed in 2012 under the Obama administration when it was, quote, modernized under the National Defense Authorization Act, NDAA. And isn't that funny? They always make it sound like this is an act that's going to protect you.
Yes.
It's the National Defense Authorization Act. America,
Everybody
we're not
likes
gonna
defense.
propagandize you. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but what that did, the big thing that did is it removed that ban on domestic propaganda. So it made it legal for the United States government to create fake news, fake footage, fake narratives, and broadcast them directly to you. I'm going to read that again. By modernizing the Smith-Mundt Act in 2012, what the Obama administration did was make it legal for the U.S. government to create fake news, fake footage, fake narratives, and broadcast them directly to you. That is terrifying.
It should be terrifying. It should be absolutely terrifying.
And if you don't think that Hollywood and all those movies with those special effects and the CGI, they can't do that shit in some set and then broadcast it with a little MSNBC, CNN, Fox News logo in the bottom left corner instead of having Paramount Pictures or whatever it is, they could do that.
Yes,
they could do that. And you know, it's so once, and I'm reading the article that I'm reading an article off of Google, and it says once this act was passed, the floodgates opened. CNN, that could be damn near just be a Pentagon partnership at this point. Fox News is not independent. They could be run by foreign billionaires and DC think tanks. NPR, you think it's about facts? No, they could be federally funded, just filtering lies. So every single outlet in the corporate mainstream is now legally allowed to lie to you. And they're creating a manufactured reality. How trippy is that, DA? We have two different realities in our life right now.
And the worst part about it is the only chance you have of combating a legalized propaganda machine of your military or your media is things like this. But then the algorithm controls what we're going to be allowed to say, or whoever's in control of the algorithm. So it would be even easy for them to silence people who are their detractors. So you got your mainstream media that's allowed to lie to the American public and even create fake footage to make them believe something happened that didn't happen, so that the American people will go, rah, we got to go to war about whoever we want to because they just did something that I saw on TV, so it has to be true. And then if somebody like you and I calls it out, how long before they start shutting us down and finding so that you can't talk about it?
Dude, what if Charlie Kirk's death is literally just a Smith-Mundt operation?
Right?
It'd be legal. It'd be
right.
Legal.
It would be legal. It would be illegal. Yeah.
No, it would be legal.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right. Oh, I thought you were saying illegal. No, it would be legal.
Yeah.
And because again, it doesn't have to just be journalism, right? You could have a state-sponsored narrative construction, and to think that that's only going to be used. Who knows for what reason? They could do it for anything. They could make a meme, or not even a meme. They could literally fake footage of any president in our lifetime. Let's take Joe Biden. Let's take Donald Trump. Let's take JFK. Let's take Obama. They could have them shitting their pants on the Oval Office, and honestly, right? They could sell that story, and it'd be like,
everybody should know this. It would be easy. This is what I mean. Everybody should know this. It would be easy for the president to have died in office in a heart attack or assassination, and then still put him on TV doing press conferences and stuff like that, and you would not know. The AI is so good. You could see a president who already is long gone still running the country by AI, and most people would never be able to detect that guy's not even around anymore. They're just putting fake footage out there with new speeches they're writing and a figurehead doing AI talking to you, and everyone's like, "Oh, I know he's alive. I just saw him yesterday on TV." Well, maybe he's been dead for 3 weeks, and you don't know because AI is so good they could fool people easily.
Dude, it's like a weaponized reality. It literally it's like a weaponized reality. It's like, well, hang on. Why would we tell the country that the president is dead? Why not just keep and why wouldn't you say it's even good for national security? We don't want to panic in America that the president's been killed. So let's just make sure the president's still giving speeches. We won't tell people because then they might freak out. They won't feel secure. So for national security purposes, we're just going to go ahead and do fake AI footage of the president giving speeches from the Oval Office because it would be more dangerous to America for them to realize he's been assassinated. And you want to know what's crazy? There's some people that would say, I agree with that.
Right. Yeah.
And just like, so let me get this straight. And I'm going to read this. Okay. Charlie Kirk is one of the most public facing political influencers in America. Love him or hate him, right? But he's gunned down publicly in a way that makes no ballistic sense. There's no blood trail, no blood spatter behind him. There's really no forensic chain of custody on his body. Next video we see of him, he's already, what's that word when they prep you for your funeral for the open casket? Is it
embalming? Yeah. Embalming. Yeah.
Within 48 hours. Okay. The foreign leaders knew about it before the American press. The camera behind him and all of TP USA's cameras right in front of him, the 4K ones. No one's seen that footage. The suspect, the original one, is at 9/11 apparently. And now he's screaming he's a shooter. The body's buried again within 48 hours. And this is the gun makes no sense. What they say the guy did with the gun. And this is just supposed to be normal. Just nod your head, clap along, go along with it. No, it's not news. This is literally the Smith Munda in action, is what it feels like.
Yeah.
Why would they have, dude, they don't even have to cover up the truth if they can legally broadcast lies.
Yeah.
Think about that. They don't even have to cover the truth up because they can just broadcast the lies. They're like, why even skip the part of the cover up? What if we could not even have to cover up the truth? Let's just only tell lies. Their ratings are probably going to be way better. And
it needs to get to the point when a mainstream media says something and the audience and the crowd will say, "Oh, piss off." That didn't happen that way. That's the only way we're going to have change. When enough people are like, "Come on, you really want us to buy that?"
God, dude, it's just like, so what do we do about it? I mean, seriously, like what do we do about it? Because, okay, remember how we were saying for the last few months, DA, if they can do this to Bryan Kohberger, they can do this to anybody. But in reality, Bryan Kohberger, he's just this loner incel that is creepy, doesn't have any friends, right? Okay. That would be much easier to cover up. But we say if they could do it to him, they could do it to you. Hive. Hate him or love him, if they can do this shit to Charlie Kirk, nobody is safe. Nobody's safe. They could do this shit in public. Dude, I talked about it with the crime scene photos with the Idaho 4, how they said it's just way too graphic. Are you shitting me? Sammy T. Mafia was saying that her 13-year-old sent her a Snapchat and she goes, why the hell is my 13-year-old even being able to see this?
Yeah.
And it, it's the same thing. There's certain events that they want the public to see. I remember back during like the George Floyd thing, when you opened up any app, whether it was Instagram, whether it was Facebook, whether it was X, whether it was TikTok, it's the first video. That is the algorithm. Like you could say, oh, it's going mega viral. Well, dude, there's a lot of things that go mega viral that you go talk to your mom about and be like, I never saw that. But everybody saw the Charlie Kirk thing. Everybody saw the George Floyd thing. And it was all at the same time.
Right. Right. And yes. And again, if your government was embedded in the social media platforms, God forbid, let's say that they have top secret agreements with all the social media platforms, they can make viral anything they want to go viral. So everybody in America will see whatever they want you to see. And it'll be the hottest thing. It's like, if you think, here's the thing. I mean, I don't want to burst people's bubbles, but if you think that on social media, we're a step ahead of the media because we're seeing stuff, they can control social media as well. They can control the algorithm and what gets pushed, and what you think is naturally occurring virality. They could go in and say, look, you're not going to push this thing. That's part of the algorithm. And you will push this, and everybody on their phone and will see it. And you'll be like, wow, we're ahead of the news. Are you? Or is that also controlled?
Well, I mean, dude, like if you wanted to make the people think that, like, let's say that the mainstream ratings are way down. We know that, right?
Yeah.
Well, do we think they're that dumb that they haven't pivoted? Or do you think, what if they're like, hey, let's just keep this going and make people think? Because in a way, is it strategic? Because, hey, as we're launching our other businesses, let's have all of our anchors start their own pages, their own channels. And wait, what if they just did it in more of like a normal person's thing and they weren't so buttoned up and strict? Like, why would we stop doing this? Because they're under that umbrella too. So while we're launching our business, let's make sure that we organically draw these numbers down slowly to their individual channels that we're all getting a cut up anyways. Wow, instead of having one channel with just one primetime slot, now we have Banfield and Enton and everybody has different channels that can post 24 hours a day. It's genius.
It is.
Christ.
Right.
And like, dude, I go back to the not to keep trying to tie the Idaho 4 back to this, but
yeah,
in reality, the Idaho 4 could have been Smith Munt too. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, seriously, Luigi could be the same thing.
Yeah.
How would we know?
How would we know? The only thing we can do, Birdie, the only thing we can do is we can have educated conversations as adults and ask those questions. Is it asking the questions half the battle? Is it possible that what we see on the news isn't really happening? And what would be the reason for it not happening? And let's talk about it. As long as they allow us to do that, we have a chance, because at least we can question. When they make it illegal to question authority, when they make it illegal to question the media, that's where we're going to be in trouble. So as long as we're still allowed to have a show where we can say, hey, what if it did? That's the whole premise of Devil's Advocates. What if it didn't happen the way they're telling you it happened? Let me play Devil's Advocates for a minute. What if it happened this way? As long as we're allowed to do that, we're going to be okay. But
is there any part of you, like, I know you followed Luigi closer than me. Is there any part of you that thinks that there might be some spidey senses, as you would say,
that they're connected?
No. That there could be. It could be a psyop. It could be something to, I don't know, maybe insulate insurance companies, because now they're going to say people are trying to kill us on the streets. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, yes, I'm watching all of those things and I'm asking all those questions, and I want to talk about all those questions. And that's where people don't necessarily get me sometimes, or even you, right? Again, going back to the first thing that attracted me to you in the first place was that you're able to simultaneously hold competing theories in your mind at one time. That's what I think we all should get to the point of doing is, what if it was this? What if it was that? What if in the Idaho 4 case, here's the thing. I've always said, what if Bryan Kohberger really did do it? I allowed myself to do that. Did you in America allow yourself to accept any other possibility than Bryan Kohberger doing it?
Yes.
That's what I did as well. I was entertaining, what if it wasn't him? What if it was the ex-boyfriend? What if it was the military guy with PTSD? But most people only accepted one. I was able to accept the possibility that, yes, maybe Bryan Kohberger did do that by himself. That is a possibility. But also, could it have been this, this, or this? And that's what we need to get to, is allow yourself to entertain all the possibilities and then talk about them as adults and educate yourself.
You know what's interesting? You had talked about all the possibilities with Charlie Kirk. So I think I've shared this. My father-in-law was in the Marines. He was in MARSOC, which I don't know if you know anything about that, but it's like special forces for the Marines. And dude was in the Middle East a lot. And my wife had said that she talked to her dad or was texting her dad about it. And what's interesting is even you think, retired Marine, super in with, the VFW, all that stuff. And he said, well, if you're going to live by the sword, you're going to die on the sword. Yeah. Because there is an aspect, I'm not just talking Charlie Kirk. I'm talking, if you get into politics and you're going to go out and be on the base level and you're going to go out into public, there is truth to that. Right. So, which is weird but political violence has been a real thing. However, what I want to say about that is, why do we allow that? Why do we allow that? If you don't agree, or whether you agree or you disagree with somebody, do they deserve to die? Now here's my question. This is my question. Is there ever a time? Is there a time when somebody does? Because look at how many wars in foreign countries we've said that to. We've said that about. In a country that's not even ours, we've said, fuck it, we're going to use our tax dollars and we're going to go change their government. Yeah. It's a question that needs to be asked. And it's like, why? It's a messed up world. Yeah. And it seems to always, the big events are always political. They get people triggered. And if it's the one thing that I'm going to try to do with the Charlie Kirk situation,
is I'm going to try to get people to tamper the extremism and talk like adults and just be rational about it. Pocket the emotion a little bit. Again, Charlie Kirk is a polarizing figure. It's gonna lead you to want to go to the extremes. Don't fall for the trap. Like Birdie was saying, there's an argument to be made that it's the conspiracy term. They're trying to control. Who's the they? But the point, it is true. There is control over the masses if we're divided all the time. There's a reason, I don't want to go to soapbox. There's a reason why we're a two-party system, and you're told that you only have one choice. You're either Republican or Democrat. We fight each other, and yet you know that those people are in bed with each other in the same companies, investing in the same companies. A house divided against itself cannot stand. Right. Well said. And so we need to start stop thinking in extremism and pointing to, well, you assholes over there think this way and you're all bad. Get rid of that shit. Let's just have good conversations as adults and talk this out.
It's low IQ. It really is. I'm sorry. It's low IQ on both sides. If you guys can't see, and I'm not talking to people in the hive when I say if you guys, if I had a bullhorn to the world right now, I would say if you guys can't see that we are in the position that they have worked for decades and decades to get us into, and we are all continuing to fall for the trap over and over and over again. What they want no part of is for us to not agree, but not turn against each other.
Right.
We don't have to agree. We just can't turn against each other anymore. If we do not come together, and I'm not even talking just in America, I'm talking the people. If we don't come together soon, dude, we are so beyond fucked. It's not even funny. I hate to cut. I'm telling you, we are FUCKED in all capital letters, as big a font as you could fit on the screen. And that's what we are. If we need to learn how to disagree and not be divided.
That's it. And I'm glad you said it, because that's where I was going to go. We need to learn a skill that we've lost in America, which is being able to respect somebody when you disagree with them. We've lost that. And we have been taught, we've been trained to hate somebody because they don't think like we do. How about we try this? Hey, I don't agree with you, but I can see where you're coming from. Wouldn't that be amazing if we could just treat each other like that? Hey, I don't agree with you, but I can see where you're coming from. Instead of, you're a piece of shit, Nazi, whatever, blah, blah, name calling, rhetoric, blah, 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 hatred. That's where they want us at. Let's stop that shit.
I would even say this. That was a very, I'm agreeing with what you're saying, but that was a very PG thing that I don't think people who, even myself at times, can, when you're emotionally heightened, say that. Even if it was this, DA, let's say you say something, I go, and I say back to you, that was the stupidest fucking shit that I've ever heard, DA. Right. But can you tell me why?
Right.
That even just that, dude, you could, seriously, I could name call you. I could say this, but if I just said, can you tell me why? And if I just shut my mouth instead of a gotcha and interrupt you and yell over you, just fixing that last part would be the game changer.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm sure there's opinions that all of us have that if somebody had a different opinion of you, maybe not that respect would waver, but you'd kind of be like, yeah, all right, I'm going to, that's just human nature. If you don't feel emotion, you're a psychopath. Okay. Not to go down the therapy route, but it's like, man, why do I get sad? Or why do I get this? Why do I get that? Well, if you didn't feel that, something's wrong with you too. Okay.
And not to beat this to death, but here's my firm belief. Most people are in the middle more than they think they are. Most people are in the middle. We think everyone's on the extremes. Most of us are a little bit wiggly on our beliefs. Yeah, I can see that, but I kind of feel this way. We're wishy-washy about our own beliefs and understanding. And if you're an intelligent human being, you're allow yourself to change your opinion on something if facts come forward. And again, they don't want people to be persuaded. They want you to get dug in, stop listening to the other side, fight each other. Anyways, I'm on a soapbox, but
no, you're good. Yeah. You're good. And I do want to, I think now is kind of a good time, DA, to move on to the tinfoil hat conspiracy of the day.
Yeah, let's do it.
And, let's talk about it.
No, dude, no. Oh shit. What have you, dude? No. All right. I'm on. Hold on. Let me get my game face going. Fuck.
How that was, I mean, just the timing of that is hilarious.
Oh God.
So, again, I'm not saying that it is Israel. There's just been a lot of kind of whispers on it. And I don't know. I mean, shit, I'm just out here to ask questions. And I do think that if there's ever been a time for me to play this song of this, it's probably right now. So I'm going to go ahead and play this.
Please retrieve your nearest tinfoil hat. Place hat firmly on your head.
So let it be noted that this show is for education and discussion purposes only. So, all right, here are some facts that we're just going to lay out really quickly. Charlie Kirk obviously was shot and killed during a TP USA event in Utah. The suspect, Tyler Robinson, who's 22 years old, has been arrested. They say that DNA evidence is linking him to the scene. Motives are still, quote, unclear, and authorities have not confirmed any connection to foreign governments or intelligence agencies. However, the conspiracy theorists, which we're not conspiracy theorists in this, we are just reading what other people say, is that did Israel have some involvement or role in Kirk's death? And these are obviously not verified. But I do think that they are important to at least share. Why are some people saying this, and ask the question? And some people are claiming that Israel or its intelligence services ordered or carried out the assassination of Charlie Kirk. One version suggests that Kirk had recently been critical of Israel in certain respects, or that he had knowledge of controversial Epstein-related files that made him a target.
Yeah.
Now, there's also a claim that Kirk had publicly warned that if he, quote, turned against Israel, the country would kill him. And he's said that out loud on, what is it? What is that dude's name? Patrick David. Who's the dude that's got the lockers in the background that are all autographed? Come on. Why am I
blank?
Someone's going to know it. Who's the dude that Pete? Come on, Hive. Bet David.
It's on the tip.
Yeah, PBD.
Okay.
Yes. Patrick Bet David. Thank you, guys. And they say that that's a conspiracy, but I mean, he did himself say that a lot of people can't go against Israel. Now, Netanyahu tweeted at the same time that Trump did. Some would say even before mainstream outlets confirmed it. Kirk was known for being a vocal supporter of Israel leading up to this. And while, yes, sometimes critical of parts of its leaderships or policies, his stance had been rumored to change dramatically, or that he had information that was becoming extremely problematic for certain Israel-aligned actors. Therefore, that would be the motive they would have. A lot of it does tie back to the Epstein stuff, and then you think Netanyahu did offer him some money for TP USA. He formally rejected them. I don't know, but it's a question. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I mean, and listen, I mean, maybe narrowly with the Israel thing, I am convinced the Epstein files is a major part. Now, again, I'm an adult, so I can be moved from this. But my gut tells me, because I was deep into the Epstein shit for a long time, never covered it on YouTube because I wasn't a YouTuber at that point. But I'm kind of a little bit like, how do I not bring up some of my old Epstein research? Because my spidey sense told me this is all, again, I knew it was a big thing when Epstein happened. I said, this is the biggest thing that you've ever seen, and you don't realize what's happening. Here we are again. I think this is still fallout with Epstein. And yes, it ties into the Mossad. It ties into Israel. It ties into a whole bunch of shit. It ties into governments and who's in bed with each other, literally and figuratively. And so yeah, it's a big thing.
Well, let me ask you this. One of the weirdest things about the Epstein files that I do not understand. Why is it on America to break it? Right? There's world leaders on it. Why where's another country that's putting this out there? Are we being shielded by it? Is there no chance that anybody but America could break that news? I don't think that we are. I actually have maybe an opinion that people would disagree with. I would think it would be more effective if it came out from a foreign news network. If it came out from somebody who wasn't a United States citizen that broke it. Personally,
Yeah.
I think it would hold a lot of weight in Americans' eyes, because then there wouldn't be the bias of, well, that person's this side or that side. What if you just said, hey guys, here's the list, and yeah, there's a shitload of prominent figures on it that, let's be honest, they weren't just going to have a weekend getaway to drink Mai Tais with Jeffrey Epstein and shoot the shit.
Right.
I can tell you that much. I mean, they're being honeypotted with underage girls and blackmailed with that film. That's what happened.
Yeah. Watch. Go watch some good Epstein documentaries. There's some really good ones out there, and it's like a primer for this case. I'm telling you. And
one other thing that I would, and I can post this in the Discord. Somebody remind me if I don't. It's been going around. There was a dude that went up, and you know how Charlie Kirk would debate people. Obviously, there was a guy that went up and started kind of critiquing him on his Israel stances. Go listen to some of the very obvious, and this was only like a year or two ago, stuff about Mossad and 9/11, where Charlie Kirk's like, wait, what? Things like Charlie Kirk didn't know that there was a passport from one of the hijackers that just so happened to fly out of this guy's
blow
pocket,
through the building and land on the street,
through the building and land with no singes, and they just so happened to find it sitting perfectly. And oh my God, they're showing it on the news. It's a hijacker's passport. It didn't disintegrate. Didn't blow up with anything else. And he goes, I'm not familiar with that. I'm like, how are you not familiar with that? That was like one of the selling points, that this is one of the guys. They found his passport on the ground. What are the odds of that? No.
And Birdie, in that story, I screamed at my TV when I heard that. Are you fucking kidding me?
Back in 01?
Tell me a passport. Yeah, back when it happened.
Wow.
When they said there was a passport on the street, I was yelling, are you kidding me? Like, we're to believe that a passport blew through the building and landed on the street of one of the hijackers. Anyways, that's a shit. So, but yeah,
Hive,
interesting that he didn't even know.
Yeah, and I want to do a temperature check. Personally, I'm not necessarily quote done covering the Idaho 4. I gave the last two streams. I really did give what I believe has happened. I think that it's like, if you wanted to solve a puzzle, or if you never wanted somebody to solve a puzzle, take 2, 3, 4 pieces, throw them away, scramble the rest up, right? But take the 2 or 3 most important pieces and just get rid of them, obliterate them, and then nobody will be able to figure it out. I'm not saying that I'm not going to talk about it when stuff happens, but personally, for me, I owe it to you all to give you guys something that I'm interested in, that is breaking, that is relevant. And so I do like to take a temperature check, as the chat is what makes the hive. Type of 1 if you guys enjoyed kind of a different topic and a different lens. Type of 2 if you didn't. And it's okay if you didn't. I'm not saying that I'm not going to do things that I'm interested in. I'm only going to.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I see some 1s, and that's good. Good. On my side, yeah, and your side, yeah, good. That's encouraging. Like, I was a little bit of, you froze. Birdie froze. Okay,
I'm back.
He's back. All right.
Well, that's good. That's good. That makes me feel good, and I'm glad, because ultimately, too, let's be honest, Bryan Kohberger, he's one of 2 things. He's either all capital letters, FUCKED, as big a font on the screen as you can fit it, or we were.
Birdie froze up again on my
side.
God
damn, am I freezing again?
You did freeze again.
See, now is not the day for my internet to go up, because I'm fiending for a vape right now. So, okay.
And I'm going to cut somebody.
Okay. Like, I'm like, what the fuck is that strawberry watermelon posh? But like, I was talking to Robin earlier, and I had said, just kind of about how there's no way that any defense attorney wouldn't be ready to make their career on the Bryan Kohberger case and prove everybody wrong. There's no way.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Right.
And I'm talking off of the documents. I'm not even talking conspiracy. There is enough reasonable doubt you could drown in it.
Yeah.
The entire state of Idaho could drown in that reasonable doubt at this point. And the fact that nobody's doing it is, I'm sorry. There are people that have defended rapists and murderers and people that have shot up schools, and they've taken the case to, quote, defend that person. The fact that Bryan Kohberger is not being defended.
And I don't want to, I know we're wrapping up, but I will add to this. Idaho is one of the only places that could have happened the way that it did as well.
Right.
Idaho had some unique ways that it handled alternative suspects and stuff like that made it a higher standard of proof to bring in an alternative suspect than it was for the actual suspect. And it was like a perfect place for that shit to have happened.
Yeah. Yeah. And DA, I really always look forward to Monday nights. And obviously this was something you and I discussed. I don't think the Hive would want it to stop just because, maybe the Idaho 4 is starting to shift a little bit in our focus, but he's not going anywhere, Hive. He's stuck here in the Hive on Monday nights. So we're going to continue to do it. And I look forward to it. So thank you, DA, for continuing to be a guest on Monday evenings. And I'm excited for some of the topics that we're going to get to discuss.
I'm excited as well.
So, all right. Well, Hive, I hope that everybody has a great night. And with that, I will be on tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. Central. As a reminder, Booking with B on Wednesday night. That is going to be an Idaho 4 stream Wednesday night. DA, are you familiar with Booking with B?
No.
She's over on TikTok. She's honestly, she's been carrying the boats over on TikTok from
nice.
At least my algorithm with some of these documents that have come out, pointing out some really, really interesting oddities. So she's going to be in the Hive on Wednesday night. And I'm looking forward to that. And then Sammy T will be Thursday. Tomorrow, I'm going to start putting together some videos that I'm going to kind of quote vet. That's not ultra gory of the Charlie Kirk thing. I'm going to get some aerial views. And I would actually like to get, I think also talking about the Charlie Kirk opens up the Hive for a lot of really, really interesting guests. I would love to get Scott Payne and have him talk about the Charlie Kirk and the FBI and just kind of the processes that he's experienced, not as quote undercover, but just that's, or if he knows somebody that is big time investigators, that would be fun. So, and if you don't mind, let me real quick hit. Tomorrow is a big thing in Luigi Mangione. If anybody on here is following Luigi Mangione, he has a court appearance, a hearing in New York. That is a huge one. I've done some videos today. I've got another video I'm going to put out here shortly. It's going to be everything you need to know about Luigi Mangione in 15 minutes or less. And I think it took me about 17 minutes to do it, so I failed. But anyways, point being is that watch that. We got Long Island Serial Killer is going to be a focus on Wednesday. And then go Murder Metal Mayhem on Thursday. And so anyways, so there's stuff that I'm doing as well. So thank you for watching. And last shout out real quick for Everything Me for dropping 50 memberships on my side. Thank you so much for that again. Yes. And then also Hive too. If you guys see George Webb live, tell him to check his email because I've been trying to get him on the stream again to talk about this Charlie Kirk stuff, which I know George Webb is just out there doing his thing, man. I mean, have you heard of, we got to get going. DA, I will save that for next Monday. Yeah. But anyways, I hope everybody has a great night. Thank you for tuning in. This was a great live, super encouraging. And DA, I will see you next Monday. Have a good night, everybody.
Later.
Cheers.
Right.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life.